May kembot ako. I went to the Leon Gallery to preview some of the historical curiosities going under the gavel at the spectacular mid-year auction. I gravitated to the collection of the author of the book Cabinet of Curiosities, academic and historian Ambeth Ocampo. Tignan natin ang mga anik-anik ni Ambeth. First, this is a copy of the first Philippine Constitution, printed in a 45-page booklet the year it was signed, 1899. The set includes a portrait of General Emilio Aguinaldo in uniform, accompanied by a handwritten note at the back dated August 24, 1898 in pencil. Second, this is a silver quill that belonged to Emilio Jacinto. Jacinto, who was famously called the brains of the Katipunan, was an incredibly sharp, principled young man. Ambeth Ocampo recounts finding this pen back in 2024. He was browsing a bayong full of scrap silver at an antique dealer's place and spotted this oxidized thing in the shape of a quill. The dealer weighed it like scrap silver, but when it was cleaned up, it turned out to be a first prize award for poetry from Colegio de San Juan de Letran given to Emilio Jacinto around 1892. Ang swerte naman. The third is Juan Luna's belt. Ambeth Ocampo got it back in the 1980s from the estate of Grace Luna de San Pedro, the wife of Juan Luna's only child, Andres. The belt is made of chainmail with an ornate tip and dates back to the 1880s. The interesting part, the belt is only 30 inches long and is worn down to around 28 inches. In fairness, Juan Luna was fit back when he was an art world rock star in Madrid and Paris. The set also includes a personal bank draft made out to Juan Luna from the Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank in Yokohama, dated 1896 for $170 in local currency. Fourth is a tortoiseshell walking stick tipped in silver. The knob was engraved with the initials RH, which stands for Resurrección Hidalgo. The set includes a personal bank draft made out to Felix Hidalgo from the Chartered Bank of India, Australia, and China, dated 1893 in London for approximately £10. These are simple everyday items and papers that give us a snapshot of what life was like for revolutionaries and ilustrados. Some of these things represent their accomplishments. Others, a glimpse into the lives of globetrotters of that era. Sir Ambeth's collection also includes some seriously significant antique books. There were so many books, so let me just share some. What I found most interesting were the travelogues by foreigners who visited the Philippines during the Spanish era. Being able to see the Philippines in the 1800s and experience the native people, I feel would be something even present-day adventure seekers would envy. Sinibaldo de Mas published Informe sobre el Estado de las Filipinas, or a report on the status of the Philippines in 1842. This individual was a Spanish diplomat who advocated for Philippine independence. He is also thought to have introduced photography in the Philippines in the late 1830s. His report was super detailed, covering everything from languages and farming to trade and education. It even has a dictionary of Philippine plants. Paul de la Juronnière published Adventures of a Breton Gentleman in the Philippines in 1855. Juronnière is a French naval surgeon who arrived in the Philippines in 1817, intending to stay for 40 days to quarantine, but ended up staying for 20 years. He explored the Cordilleras, and this travel book, featuring amazing pictures, documented his experience with locals, warriors, headhunters. This French author died in the Philippines. Henry T. Ellis published Hong Kong to Manila and the Lakes of Luzon in the Philippine Isles in 1859. It chronicles the travel of a British naval officer who visited the Philippines for 6 weeks while he was on leave. Afam vibes. His observations about Philippine society were generally those of a happy tourist who had fun being received by the Governor-General, attending parties, sightseeing in Manila, and going out of town. The book features a rare map that encompasses Manila Bay, Laguna, and Cavite. Joseph M. Montano published Travel to the Philippines and Malaysia in 1886. This book reads like a diary. The majority of the book focuses on the Philippines, offering insight into the social lives of various ethnic groups residing in Mindanao. It contains numerous images of indigenous peoples, a map of the Philippines, and a map of the author's route from Surigao to Davao along the east coast of Mindanao. Alfred Marsh published Luzon and Palawan, 6 Years of Travel in the Philippines in 1887. He was a French naturalist and explorer known for his expeditions. Names of birds, badgers, and fish native to Palawan were named after him. These books are like time machines, taking the reader back to what the Philippines was like centuries ago. But history isn't only written in books. It's vividly present in the fascinating collectibles left behind by past generations. History that we can touch, such as Juan Luna's silver belt, Emilio Jacinto's poetry award, and Hidalgo's walking stick, are waiting to be discovered and appreciated. These tangible histories offer rich human connections to the past. O diba?
Meow meow.